On this special episode of Scribble Kibble, adventure, fire, romance, snakes, because this is a show about animation, and animators can do anything. Blah. Tigtone is under the spotlight today, and I'm excited to share the odd animation technique and art behind it, so take a look. I love this animation so much. It's a massive, brilliant joke about fantasy movies and games. But if that's not your shtick, surely you can still appreciate the captivating, grotesque animation of these amazing illustrations. Have you ever seen some of the behind-the-scenes stuff of those live-action movies where you've got someone in a spandex suit with all these little balls or dots attached to them walking around? Well, that's essentially how Tigtone is animated. It's called motion capture, or performance capture, that works too. In a making of video I've included below, Mike here has a bunch of dots glued directly to his face. He orients himself to line up with the general position of the finished artwork, and then the studio films him. They don't need special cameras to film with, it's the software that does the work. Just like with animation software, there's a plethora of motion capture software to choose from. Maybe you've played with a webcam face identification program that turns the image of yourself into a talking dog or a cartoon person. That's motion capture, and that type of software tries to read the position of your nose, eyes, and lips to mimic your movements. Right now, that type of motion capture is not very precise. Or maybe you've seen Dog of Wisdom. That's animated with a motion capture device called Leap Motion that reads the position of your hand. Tigtone is a step up from those. I don't know specifically what software they're using, but it's the type that tracks the position of each of these balls to determine the morphology, the shape, of the face and its muscles as the actor talks. The data on those positions is then translated onto the artwork. Motion capture technology is getting better, but it isn't perfect. Motions that look normal for the actor might translate weird onto the fantasy character, so animators have to go through and make a lot of adjustments to get the character to look right after the fact. Tigtone probably did some, but a lot less of this cleanup phase, leaving the animation in its bizarre, uncanny valley state most of the time. Leaving it weird is the point here. Parts of Tigtone that don't require motion capture can be done with relative ease using a puppet pin warp tool and a ton of tweens. The pen and hand here are flat pieces of art that only change in position and rotation. You can poke around on the internet and find highly detailed illustrations animated in this same way. Sometimes people get permission to use a really fancy piece of art and puppet warp it to make it look like the hair is moving, or something like that. For more complicated items, you could actually record live action of household objects and motion track parts of those. Like this cape could be a real-world piece of fabric with dots attached to it, filmed just like they did to animate Tigtone talking. A motion tracker in an editing program would track the dots on the fabric, and that data would be applied to the cape art. Personally, I've done this before to record the position of characters, but I did have to go in and frame by frame fix a lot of the parts where the motion tracker in After Effects didn't calculate right and was jumping all over the place. Ultimately, in the end, it would have been faster if I just animated the motion paths by hand. If you liked the humor of the Tigtone animation, there's a bunch more videos on their channel. Go take a look. And by the way, Cartoon Network recently trademarked Tigtone, so Adult Swim? Step closer, traveler, and I shall tell you the tale of the artwork I have seen. Wolves with twinkling eyes gazing to the skies, traveling long distances in search of a greater purpose. Those who are puffed up with pride, those who are fluffed up in fancy, and those who must eat packages of dried scribble spaghetti to survive.